In the first 3 innings today here in this 7-4 victory by the Athletics over the Mariners in Seattle, Tim Hudson allowed no hits and only 1 base runner on a walk that came in the first inning. But one of the reasons there were no hits was because Eric Burns came up with a big play with 1 out in the third, and the rookie shortstop Jose Lopez at the plate.
Miller sets up outside, and the pitch to Lopez is hit to left field on the line. Burns coming over, diving, backhand catch, and holds on. Excellent play by Eric Burns in left field, robbing Lopez of extra bases.
Great play because the ball was hooking away from him, and Burns really got caught in a position where if he doesn't dive and catch the ball, it's going to be extra bases anyway. So great effort, great catch by Eric.
The A's couldn't make much headway in the early going for 4 innings against the Korean right-hander Cha Sung-baek, making his 4th major league start. And by the time they came up in the 5th, they were looking at a deficit. With 2 out in the 4th, Raul Ibanez got the first hit off Tim Hudson. That was followed by a Brett Boone bouncer up the middle for a base hit. And then the guy who was a big factor with the bat last night, the rookie Greg Dobbs, who started the game at third base today after having that bases-clearing double in last night's ball game, and he picked up where he left off.
Hudson developed a 2-0 delivery. Dobbs hits a line drive, base hit right center field. Ibanez around third to score. Going to third is Boone, and the throw is cut off. And Greg Dobbs, a line drive single to center. And the Mariners on the scoreboard first this afternoon, 1-0 Seattle.
And he saved with a fastball. Threw the fastball and tried to get it inside, maybe bring it back. Actually, Miller set up outside, but centered it. And 92-mile-an-hour fastball up the middle. So 3 consecutive singles, all with 2 outs. And all 3 right back up the middle.
Garazo, who was 4 for 4 with a walk today, triggered action in the 5th inning for the A's by leading off with his second hit of the day, a single. Then Crosby was grazed by a pitch from the right-hander. Suddenly the A's had a situation with first and second, and maybe something developing. But Damian Miller was a strikeout victim after trying twice unsuccessfully to bunt. Marco Scudero, who started today at second and was in the 9 slot in the order, got behind with a quick 2 strikes. Then he fought back to 3-2. He fought off 2 pitches by fouling them off, and then on the 9th pitch of the at-bat, swung on, driven to right field, slicing away from Ichiro down to the corner, base hit into the corner. Garazo's in. Crosby breaking for the plate, scoring, standing. Scudero in at second with a double, and he has shoved the A's in front here in the 5th inning by a score of 2-1. On the third 3-2 pitch, Hudson pitched a shutdown inning in the bottom of the 5th, though he was threatened with 2 out when Ichiro got his 236th hit of the year, now 21 short of George Sisler. Wynn singled him up to second base, but then Edgar Martinez hit into a force out, and that threat was quickly put down, and the A's jumped out to give Hudson a little more support in the 6th inning. Chavez wasting little time leading off. There's one that's clubbed to right field. Way back, and instantly gone. Eric Chavez homers. That one got more than the back door. It got the middle of the plate, and he crushed it. Holy Toledo. 29 for Chavez, and the A's lead 3-1 in the 6th. Then Jermaine Dye, in his 3rd plate appearance of the day, he had flied out twice before, hit a monster shot to center field to the base of the wall over Jeremy Reed for a double. They decided to walk Durazo intentionally. There's 1 out at the time. But then Beck had trouble throwing strikes to Bobby Crosby, walked him to load the bases, at which point the pitching change was called for by Bob Melvin. Rookie Scott Atchison came in to pitch to Damian Miller. Miller mired in a slump that right now has reached 3 for 28, but still made his contribution. Well, maybe in a passive way, but it paid off. And he delivers. He didn't. It's inside. He walked in, forcing in a run. And that brought up Scudero again. Atchison ready again. Deal. Ground ball to third. Double play ball. Dobbs to second for 1. The turn by Boone. Not in time, and the A's get a run. Scudero outlegged the relay by Boone. And the 3rd run of the inning is across with Durazo scoring, and it is 5-1 Athletics. And that was one of 2 important instances in the ballgame today where an A's hitter really busting down the line, got the decision, and it paid off and helped in building to the eventual 7-4 victory. Hudson took the mound in the 7th with a more comfortable situation, and with a leadoff double by Jeremy Reed, had to pitch out of the stretch the rest of the inning. By the time there were 2 out, Reed was at third base, and Randy Wynn at the plate with a 1-1 count.
The 1-1 pitch. Wynn, it's the fly ball to right. Dye's going back on it. Dye's at the track, at the wall, and it is gone. And the Mariners are back in this game. A 2-run home run by Randy Wynn to right field. 5-3 Athletic.
The A's got nothing in the 7th of the 8th against relievers Atchison, Randy Williams, and Julio Mateo. Hudson put down the Mariners 1-2-3 in their 8th, and at that point had 106 pitches for the day and a solid 8-inning effort. But extra runs never hurt, and the A's found a way to get them with 1 out in the 9th inning when Burns busted down the first baseline and beat out a ground ball to shortstop when Lopez was somewhat casual about it and suddenly was startled to see the A's had a base runner. Chavez followed it up with a single through the left side hole, and though Hatterberg's deep drive crushed to right center field was caught by Reed, Burns tagged up and went to third for Jermaine Dye, possibly to get the A's that insurance run. And Dye lines it into left center for a base hit. And here comes Burns with a run over to third base now, and pulling up at third, Chavez, and the A's have that extra run to make it a 6-3 ball game. Jermaine Dye with 2 hits today, a run scored and a run batted in. And now, by the way, this was against Masato Kida, the former Los Angeles Dodger and Dodger farmhand who started the 9th inning. So if you get an extra run, what's the matter with getting a second extra run? Durazo had a chance to make a perfect day out of his afternoon. Now the right-hander with a 3-1 delivery and a smash past the mountain into center field for a base hit. In from third to Story Chavez, and now it's the A's 7, the Mariners 3, and Durazo has a 4-hit day with a walk thrown in, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. And in the 9th inning, the Mariners managed a run against Octavio Dotel, who was in a non-save situation, a 1-out walk to Reed. Defensive indifference allowed him to reach second. Lopez singled him home. And then with 2 out, a walk to win, put the tying run at the plate. Person of Holbert Cabrero batting in Edgar Martinez's spot. And Dotel was about ready to call it a day. Bounce towards short. Backhand by Crosby. Throw to third. And in time for the force out. Chavez was slightly off the bag. Had to make a kind of exaggerated move to get his foot in the bag. Ahead of the runner there, Lopez, and the ball game is over. And the A's, after trailing early, have come back and won this one. The Athletics even the series this afternoon on Tim Hudson's 12th win of the year. Marco Scudero's 3 RBIs. And the final score is the A's 7 and the Mariners 4.